there was a vote, basically a parliamentary maneuver in the House that Paul Ryan put into play to essentially attach a motion to bring forward a bill that Ro Khanna is sponsoring in the House. It's a parallel to what Bernie Sanders, Chris Murphy, and Mike Lee are working on in the Senate to halt U.S. funding, refueling, and really active participation efforts in the Saudi Arabian United Arab Emirates war on Yemen. It's killed tens of thousands of people. It's caused a cholera outbreak, food shortages. It's targeted schools, hospitals, funeral homes. It is one of the most savage, sustained, and brutal crimes occurring on a daily basis in the world today, with full active United States and U.S. and UK participation in this calumny led by the Saudi regime. Paul Ryan very much has that same blood on his hands, has that same Yemeni blood in his beard. And that maneuver, which as I understand it was a parliamentary maneuver to attach the motion to proceed with the vote on defunding the war on Yemen, was attached to an agriculture bill, which meant that basically the agriculture bill being voted on and moving forward would delay a vote on the Khanna bill until the new year. So 18 Republicans crossed party lines to vote for it. 5 Democrats crossed party lines to vote against it. We'll talk about those 5 in a minute. But first, this is Ro Khanna on the floor of the House yesterday explaining the maneuvers that are going to lead to even more bloodshed in Yemen. Thank you to Paul Ryan's disgusting leadership.
Americans around this country are wondering, what does a farm bill have to do with the war in Yemen? And the answer is absolutely nothing. You wonder why people are frustrated with Congress, why they think Congress lacks common sense. It's because no one understands why you would have a vote on a farm bill and you would tie it to a vote on war and peace in Yemen. The only reason the leadership is doing this is because they know that there are dozens of Republicans who will stand with Democrats to stop the killing in Yemen. How do they know this? Because Senate Republicans are voting to stop the killing in Yemen. I came to Congress because of my grandfather, who inspired me, who spent 4 years in jail in Gandhi's independence movement. And I came to Congress to say that America should always stand for human rights. I urge my Republican colleagues, look at the pictures in the New York Times and Huffington Post. 5-year-old kids, 7-year-old kids starving to death. A Yemeni child dying every 10 minutes. They tell us to wait till January. That would mean thousands of more Yemeni kids dead. I don't think this is a partisan issue. This is an American issue. Let's stop the killing in Yemen. Let's end the famine. Let's have a vote in this House so we can stop the civil war in Yemen and save lives.
I'm going to quote now briefly from a great piece in Splinter. 5 Democrats joined Paul Ryan to vote for more Yemeni blood on their hands is the correct title of the piece. House Speaker Paul Ryan, because he's a ghoul, doesn't support ending the war on Yemen. Ryan also selects the 9 majority members of the House Rules Committee, which gets to set rules under which a bill will be voted on. On Tuesday night, House Rules, that's the House Rules Committee, stuck in a small part to the rules for the Farm Bill, which again was expecting to pass and now has passed and has nothing to do with Yemen, that blocked the House from voting on a Yemen resolution sponsored by Democrat Ro Khanna. That rule change went to a vote Wednesday afternoon and immediately caused a stir. Over a dozen Republicans flipped to no votes right away, and several more followed, but ultimately 5 Democrats handed this one to Ryan. Who are these 5 despicable, obscene, disgusting, need to be immediately primary Democrats? They are Jim Costa, Al Lawson, Colin Peterson, Dutch Ruppersberger, and David Scott. We're going to talk more about the Bloody Five, who need to be primaried, who need to have their offices called, who need to have letters sent to them, who need to be tweeted at, who need to be shamed and protested in every forum. But just to give you a flavor of the Bloody Five who voted for Yemen genocide, here's Representative Colin Peterson. He's a Democrat. I don't know what state. We're going to get these guys' states soon.
Minnesota.
He's Representative Colin Peterson, Democrat from Minnesota, explaining why he sided with the Republican majority and Paul Ryan on continuing to murder Yemenis. He said, quote, "Our party gets off on tangents," which is how he's deeming cholera, famine, the murder of tens of thousands of people with U.S. support and weapons. This is Jeff Stein's full exchange with him. Jeff Stein from
You
Vox.
can read Jeff Stein, I'll read Peterson.
Okay. Can you explain your vote on the Yemen resolution?
Yeah, it didn't belong in there.
Why not? Couldn't you have just come back and done another vote?
No, we've worked for 2 years on this farm bill, and I'll be damned if I let anybody screw it up.
Do you have any thoughts about the war in Yemen?
I don't know a damn thing about it, and it should be in there, and it didn't do anything anyway.
What do you mean by that?
All it did was say they couldn't have a vote or something. Didn't authorize anything. It didn't, our party gets off on tangents. It's ridiculous.
So we basically know why Colin Peterson voted for Yemen genocide, because he is literally a absolute, in addition to being callous and immoral, obviously a complete airhead who is totally, no one with this level of total moral failing plus complete intellectual inability should be serving in Congress. And I know that there's plenty of people with no moral ability and total intellectual shortcomings who serve in Congress, but we should still have higher standards, and Colin Peterson is an immoral airhead, and that explains his vote for joining the Yemen Genocide Caucus and the leadership of Paul Ryan.
And I'm pretty sure all these 5, or a good chunk of them, are in pretty safe Democrat seats.
These are safe Democrat seats. They all need to be primaried. I actually want to give a shout out. I believe it was Tommy Vitor, who is a PodSave guy. I don't have it in the packet. He tweeted out last night, "Are you interested in primarying any of the 5?
There you
Get
go.
in touch with me." Excellent.
Well done, Tommy.
Well done, Tommy. Great stuff.